I live and practice in Detroit, and I believe our city and the people that live here represent the best of America. I wanted to create a place that folks can go to that not only delivers health information, but also helps us share inspirational stories to help all of us grow. With real problems discussed in depth with real solutions. You are the most important person. You're the patient. This is Ask Dr. D. Hello, welcome to Ask Dr. Nenny. Today we're talking about express workouts. There's a popular saying among us that our bodies are our temples and it should be treated as such. Your physical fitness is a key part in your overall health. Not just what you eat, but with kids, traveling, and a job, who has time to go to the gym, right? Today we have a panel of experts to teach us quick, effective ways to burn calories and build muscle. Whether it's at home or using your environment to your advantage, there are countless ways to make fitness fun and fast. Please stay tuned, don't go away. And I heard you have an action figure as well.
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Okay, well, man.
My bobblehead will take you out.
Oh, man. Your
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Dr. Nenny. Now, some may know him as Spawn, others as Black Dynamite. Most recently, he's graced the silver screen as Gamble in The Dark Knight and the Bronze Tiger in CW's Arrow. Please welcome martial artist, actor, producer, director, and writer, Michael J. White. Big round of applause. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on. I really appreciate it. So I'll tell you, you've my favorite role for you has been in the Batman movie. Unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What was the toughest role that you've done so far?
Oh boy, the toughest role. I guess the role I started and kind of got on the scene with was the Mike Tyson story. So I had to try to get his physicality and his voice and all that. So that was kind of challenging, but I mean, I was really happy about that challenge.
Can you still do his voice?
I don't know. I've kind of, I guess a little bad. Sometimes I do his voice. It's I haven't done that in years, but it's something like that. Yeah, I have 5 kids.
Perfect. And I heard you have an action figure as well.
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
my bobblehead will take you out.
Oh man,
So we'll leave it out here.
Yeah, mine looks a little more like Evander Holyfield, I think.
But he looks tough, though. Mine just keeps going. Have you ever met an Indian person? They go, okay.
They kind of.
That's what he's doing.
I didn't want to say that, but
he says, oh yes. Very popular throughout the world.
Yeah.
So you were a school teacher, I hear.
Yes, I was.
And tell me what changed and how you changed your career path.
Well, I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I was an EMD, emotionally disturbed, a special ed teacher.
Where at? In the U.S.?
Yeah, in Connecticut, in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And so, I'd done that prior to acting, and I was going out for acting roles on my time off as a teacher. And so eventually I had to kind of get it out of my system and see if I was going to fail or succeed. And, so far it's worked out pretty well.
Really well. I mean,
yeah.
But that's a big transition, go from being a school teacher. I mean, what was the reason for you to change?
Well, I mean, if I have something within me and I have to get it out, or, I didn't want to be one of those people that said I should have and never did. So I just don't think that's an attractive feature for somebody to do. I mean, people that kind of regret that their whole life. So I had to get it out of my system. But interestingly, my interest as an actor is a little bit related to my interest as a teacher, because it's actually portraying characters and the way the public sees characters on television. It's a pretty strong teaching tool as well.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I've always been fascinated by just the human condition, and was blessed enough to have the ability to be able to look at things from another perspective and then play that. And so I think it's socially there's
some parallels, aren't there?
Yeah.
Tell me of all your roles. You do a lot of physical roles, but of all your roles, where do you think you are the best teacher in your roles? Because you've done a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I mean, I remember one of the roles I've had. This is a little obscure. I did a role in a movie called Captive Heart. It was with Louis Gossett Jr. I played a slave in this role, and it forced me to look at the world through the eyes of a slave, and it made me appreciate everything that was in my life currently, because I really had to look at things from that perspective, and it was really an eye-opening encounter, because
Introspective, isn't it?
yeah, because I had to look at my life on this plantation, and the flowers that grew there were amongst the most beautiful things on the planet. Someone's singing voice had to be like an orchestra to me. All the little things had to be magnified when I had to look at it through the prism of this person. And thankfully, after that movie wrapped, guess what? Flowers are still beautiful. The singing voice is still magnificent. And when I put on my earphones to hear 100 instruments, that is amazing. And it just changed the way I looked at a lot of things. So, I mean...
And you could educate others too,
Yeah.
people who say, you know what, they don't have this or that. When you realize what the human condition, how badly people can live, you feel lucky in what you have. Now, physicality, I mean, how difficult, we're talking about kind of express workouts, how difficult is it for you to train for these roles? Because you're doing different things all the time.
Yeah, I'm not one to say it's difficult. I remember, I just have a great memory. I remember trying to get where I am. And when there, and working a full-time job and then getting to the gym. Now that was difficult.
Like when you were a teacher, you mean?
Yeah, it was just when I was on my climb as an actor.
Yeah.
And I just knew that, if I get, I guess, put on, if I start my career, to be able to work out and it's part of your job is a luxury.
It's huge, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like there is no excuse on the planet Earth for me not to be in the best condition of my life. It's part of what I get paid for. It's part of what my fans expect of me. And so remembering, the me from 20 years ago, I mean, I can't call it hard. It's just something about, I just have to schedule it, and it's just, I don't know. It's something that you reap so many benefits from working out. It's just I'm in a glorious position to have that part of my livelihood.
Yeah, you're a very wise person, because a lot of people still find reasons to complain. You're saying, listen, I feel like I'm blessed enough that I can make that a part of my life, and there's no reason to say, you know what, I'm complaining.
There's one day I'm going to I'm going to need a walker. One day I'm going to need a cane.
Right.
And on those days, I'm going to wish I had the ability I have right now.
Right.
And so, my
No reason to
goodness.
complain.
Yeah, I mean, to just like if you're ever injured or you're ailing in any kind of way, and you realize how that feels, I mean, you should really, really cherish the times where you're not. And if I can just get up and know that I feel healthy. I mean, I want to reward life, the
exactly
fact
right.
that, that this is such an amazing benefit, because, we're all going to get older.
Exactly.
And it's going to be a time you're going to wish you had time or the ability to go run a couple of miles.
Exactly. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have more of our conversation with Michael. Please stay with us.
I'm just a believer in taking care of your one instrument that you truly own.
Exactly.
Your body is the one thing that you can't get repossessed by the bank.
Welcome back. You're back with Ask Dr. Nenny. Today we're talking about express workouts, and with us is filmmaker, martial artist, and actor Michael Jewell. Michael, earlier we were talking about some of the roles that you're having and so the training. Now, with martial arts, it's not just physical; it's really quite mental, isn't it?
Absolutely. That is the true gift of martial art, is that it increases your discipline, and it's your discipline that pushes you through these physical plateaus. And I know a lot of weight is given to the fact that someone can kick or fight and what have you, but it's really about the mental training with martial arts. So with discipline, you can pretty much accomplish anything. Yeah.
And it goes outside of martial arts. It goes to your career. It goes to anything. You know, yoga is the same way. People who practice yoga says, take the yoga practices off the mat and take it with you. And you'd agree, same thing with martial arts. Take
Absolutely.
it with you. Now, we're talking about express workouts. If you're a martial artist, you don't really need any fancy equipment.
No.
You can be in your hotel room. You can be in your basement. Tell us about that you can really do these workouts incorporating martial arts in anywhere you want to, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Being that I do several martial arts, there's always a martial art, one of the styles that I need to brush up on.
What are the styles you do, just so people know at home and here?
Well, it's a bunch of them. It's Kyokushin, Shotokan, Taekwondo, Goju, Tangsudo, Kobudo, a style called Iaido, and I also do Wushu, Kung Fu.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you do a lot, and so you brush up on all these. Let's say if you're traveling, or if you're at home, can you do these? And people don't know. Some of these people who are watching don't know any of these techniques. They can do it without any equipment, really.
Oh yeah. Well, no equipment is required.
Needed, exactly.
Yeah. Except one of those styles is called Kobudo, which is the weapons. It's an Okinawan weapon system, and so to practice that, you have the weapon in your hand.
And would you recommend that for people who are, say, you know what, I want to learn how to work out, and you seem like you're in great shape from martial arts. Would you recommend that for folks out there?
Oh yeah, I would definitely recommend martial arts for anybody. It's an individual thing, and it's not a team sport. And sometimes people think that they're too old to learn. You're never too old. It's like I say, it's about you training and your discipline. There's aspects of martial arts like courtesy. You bow, you humble yourself. That's beneficial to anyone.
Absolutely. What about diet incorporated with this? Now we're talking about fitness, but I'm sure you watch what you eat all the time in order to be able to do some of the things you do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just a believer in taking care of your one instrument that you truly own.
Exactly.
Your body is the one thing that you can't get repossessed by the bank. So
That's right.
So it's like people put time and effort into protecting their house and their car, but I think you should really put time into protecting your most prized possession, which is your body.
Yeah, and people that are in the U.S., there are a lot of things that we have as far as education. For people who are watching outside the U.S., what advice would you give them about incorporating diet and exercise? And you can be in certain villages outside, in Africa and in certain places in Asia. What would you recommend for them for keeping their fitness, keeping their nutrition?
Well, I mean, that rule of getting up an hour early and that just can be such a cathartic time for you to just be one with your universe, your world, and no kids involved, no one else. A time for you to focus and start your day. I think that's just so important. I mean, in Asian countries, how Tai Chi is that's such an amazing exercise, just thoroughly. I would encourage everyone to learn Tai Chi, and it's something that you can do well into your 80s. And there are a lot of different exercises and dances that are gerund to other countries, and I would just encourage people to get an hour of their own time in before the chickens wake up.
Exactly. And then move with intention. Wouldn't you agree? One of the things that we talk about, don't just move with intention, move with purpose. What do you think about that? How important is that in your workouts?
To move
with intention, move with purpose. I mean, how important do you think is in working out, having a goal, having a purpose?
Well, I mean, of course, I'm always, that's kind of the slice of my life is doing that. But I can't reiterate, more that it should be of paramount importance to each and every one of us, and of course, learning about diet and
it's huge.
Yeah, we're in a fight. I mean, we're really in a fight out there. There's it's just sad that you're getting legally poisoned I would encourage people to really read the ingredients that are, is going into the food.
Turn around your box and see all the stuff. My rule is that if you can't pronounce it or don't know what it is, put it back.
Absolutely, and I always say, if you make a sandwich, if you make anything, and you sat it on the counter for a day, what happens to it? So now, you buy something that's been sitting there for months.
Right.
How does it get to a point where it would have spoiled in a couple days or a day to it lasting for a month, So if you start thinking that way, yeah.
And the thing is that what we have to notice is even if you're making goals, making goals for your life is that you're looking at labels and saying that nutrition should be okay. It can be a simple goal. You know what? I'm going to take less insulin. I'm going to take one less blood pressure medication.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure that I have one less disease, because what's happening is it's a global epidemic. Not only in this country, but every country that's out there, the epidemic of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, that's killing people. And I think that
absolutely.
Whether it's martial arts, whether you just move with intention, I think it'll help a lot. For fans, finally, for fans of your latest trilogy, what can you tell us about Never Back Down 3?
Well, Never Back Down 3 is a movie I just completed about 3 months ago in Thailand.
Excellent.
I directed it and also starred in it and pretty much wrote it. And so,
You're busy.
Yeah, it was with myself. If anybody's an MMA or martial arts fan, is Josh Barnett and Tony Jaa. That's for the martial arts enthusiasts, and Isai Morales, and also, we had a pretty great.
And when's that coming up?
Yeah, I'm not sure when it's going to be coming out. Right now I'm just in the final stages of editing.
Editing, got it.
Yeah, so it'll probably be about 6 months. I would.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you for giving us an insight in your life and motivate so many millions of people and to do exactly what you're talking about. You know what? Watch out for your body, you get moving, work out, and then also you look at the ingredients in your food and make sure that you do the right thing. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by fitness trainer Jewell. Please stay with us.
After a couple of weeks of just cutting back on desserts and happy hours with my friends, and instead of going to a happy hour, one of my girlfriends and I, we'd go to yoga, or we'd go for a walk outside, or we'd do something active instead. Like, I saw results after just, probably 10 days, honestly.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Nani. Now, if you travel, have children, or just don't have spare time, so how can you stay active? Being fit doesn't mean spending 2 hours a day at the gym. It means making little changes every day to meet realistic goals. Now, here with us now is a woman who is an expert on making fitness quick, meaningful, and fun, Jewell. Jen, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about what made you kind of change your lifestyle. What was the kind of like the turning point? What made you change your lifestyle?
Well, honestly, years ago, I had gone from being really fit, in shape, working out all the time, training clients, to all of a sudden I found myself at 50 pounds heavier than I am today and over 35% body fat. So I was no longer healthy. And so I needed to make a change, to make it quick. And so that was my aha moment when I went to the doctor, and he said, you're at 36% body fat and you're 22 years old. What's going on? I was 36% body fat at 22 years old. So, and I was a personal trainer then. So I was like, wow. I've got a
revelation.
Exactly. I have to start practicing more of what I preach to my clients, and I made slow changes. I stopped eating out as often, packed my lunch more often than getting lunch out everywhere. Didn't have dessert every night like I was for a while, and had it a couple of times a week. So I made slow, slight changes like that, which ultimately added up to big time results.
And people don't know about this about you, but you had a tragedy that happened in your life before you had the weight gain and the 36% body weight, right?
Yeah, it threw me off a little bit. I had just moved down to Southern California for college, and about a month or two after I moved down there, I got news that my best friend that I'd grown up with, and we'd been best friends for, 12 years, she'd gotten killed in a car wreck. So that really threw me for a loop. So I was down there for college. I didn't have my normal friends, my family around me, and I kind of lost myself. So I started going out to eat more often, didn't work out as often. I, had some cocktails where I'd never had before, dessert all the time, things like that. My lifestyle just totally changed.
Do you think that you were doing that to fill something that was missing in your life because your friend?
Probably, yeah. You know, like when you grew up with someone and you were that close and you basically consider them a sister, and to have that just taken away so quickly, and then again, because I was away from everyone else and I was already in an unfamiliar area.
You had no support?
No, you know, my family and friends were a 10-hour drive away, so I still went to school and went to work, but I just, lifestyle changes and stuff like that.
And the other thing that we did a show on, for those of you who are watching, on mindful versus mindless eating. When you have a tragedy like that, what happens is that you just kind of go through the motion, you just put food in your mouth. And so you made that change, and how quickly did you see results?
Honestly, for me, like I said, it was a very gradual thing, and I knew that was what was going to make it count and make it stick. Because I knew if I went from going out to eat every single day and eating dessert every single day to none of that, that it wasn't going to be realistic for me. It wasn't going to last for the long haul. So again, I made the slight changes, and after a couple of weeks of just cutting back on desserts and, you know, happy hours with my friends, and instead of going to a happy hour, one of my girlfriends and I, we'd go to yoga, or we'd go for a walk outside, or we'd do something active instead. Like, I saw results after just, you know, probably 10 days, honestly. But importantly, I started to feel results as well.
Now, you know, when you go and travel as much as you do, how can you work out? And people say, I have no time. That's the biggest excuse they give, right? I have no time. But you really do, don't you?
It really is the biggest excuse that I hear, but I also think a lot of people are under the false assumption that you have to spend those 1, 2, 3 hours a day, every day in the gym, and that is not true at all. Even 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week will do your body, mind, and everything so much good that, you know, make a commitment to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 20 minutes first thing in the morning. That way it's out of the way. If you have your other, you know, priorities and responsibilities with your family, you know, your children, your job, all of those other things that will pop up throughout the day and make you not be able to work out after work and things like that, get the workout out of the way first thing in the morning. You're done, you're free to go about your normal day, hectic schedule as the day goes on.
And so let's say we just give travel an example. What do you do when you travel? Let's say an average person who's a business person who travels all the time. What would an example of a workout they could do?
Okay, so for me, for example, this morning I woke up and I did actually go downstairs to the cardio that they have. Most hotel gyms now, most hotels do have something, either a stationary bike or an elliptical or a treadmill. They're not going to have the full landscape of everything, and that's okay. You just have to learn to work with what you have access to. I also always travel with a resistance band and a jump rope. So in the case that I stay at a hotel where there is no cardio equipment, what I do is I'll jump rope in the hotel room for like 30-second intervals. And another great thing too is to use your body weight. So we've got push-ups, we have regular squats, we have lunges, you can do burpees, you can do dips, you can do so many things just utilizing your body weight. So 20 minutes first thing in your hotel room, get that out of the way when you're on the go to your business meetings, have your day on the road, but at least you know you've gotten your fitness in.
You know, and yoga is something you don't need anything with, and you can also, would you recommend doing yoga when you're traveling? I mean, it'll also calm your mind and give you that kind of sense of purpose you need as well.
Exactly. So if yoga is something that people already are regularly doing and they're going to class for it, take some of those poses that you know and practice that on your own at home. If it's something that you've never tried before, okay, well, they've got plenty of resources online too. You can look up tons of YouTube channels, and just doing some of those stretches, again, will calm the mind, the body. After we've been sitting on planes for so long, like actually stretching out everything, it's so much better for your body overall.
It's awesome advice. Yeah, it's awesome advice. I think a lot of us who are traveling, you know, many of us travel and just say we don't have enough time. You really do. You know, you can just have to make the time and have a goal. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jen will show us how to utilize space and time for easy workouts. Please stay with us.
Lower here, lift back up. Again, my abs are tight the entire time, utilizing my glutes, my quads, and my hamstrings. This is great for total lower body.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Dr. Nani, and we're back with Jen Jewell, renowned fitness trainer, to show us how to stay in touch with fitness on a tight budget and time. So Jen, show us some stuff that you can do that's quick and portable even if you travel.
Okay, so a lot of my favorites, quick, easy, you can do right in your hotel room, you can do right in your living room, so there's no excuses, just results with this type of workout. So what I like to do, whether or not you have a mat, you can start with a nice wide squat, so that way even if you have bad knees or bad lower back, you can turn your toes out and it's going to take the emphasis off your lower back and just squat like this. I'll hold my hands right in front of me or right out like that to help balance, and then jump right here to get your heart rate elevated just a little bit like this, and I'll warm up to about 10 to 20 of those depending how I'm feeling, and then I'll hit down on the ground and I'm going to do some planks. I'm going to show you guys 2 variations to do. They're regular planks and then something called a plank up down. It's going to utilize more of your abs, more of your core, keep that heart rate up.
All right, just one question though. If for people who have knee problems, they can do a modification of that, right? Just don't go as low as you.
You don't have to go as low. You don't have to do any of the jump squats. Honestly, if you do have knee problems, I would probably even just do like a light side to side motion like that. So you're not having to squat all the way down or anything like that.
And remember, she's in tremendous shape, so it doesn't mean that. One of the things that are intimidating when you look at trainers that you think you have to replicate all their moves. She's done this for years, and so do anything you can, that just to get moving. That's the important thing. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so down here we're going to go ahead and do a plank hold. So there's a couple different variations for all different levels. This is a fully extended plank. I'm going to go down here. The plank on the elbows, so you're working your abs, your upper body, and then you push back up like this, so you're getting more of an upper body workout. So without the dumbbells, without the resistance band, literally you're just pushing up your body weight like this, so down and up, just like that. So I call those plank up downs. Again, they get my heart rate elevated, so if you don't have that cardio machine, that's okay, you don't need it. You incorporate moves like this, you perform them back to back with minimal rest. I usually pick about 5 to 6 different exercises and I perform them back to back in a little mini circuit. I rest briefly, I repeat it 3 to 5 times for my whole workout and then done.
That's what, 25, 30 minutes?
Yeah, less than 30 minutes.
Perfect.
Sure.
And then for that, what she did, if you put your knees down, for the people who can't do it, just put your knees down, you have less of a
just
stress.
Like this
exactly.
Right here.
And you can still do that. And
then down,
see.
up.
Yeah, so do what
just
you
like
can.
That.
That's the key. Just keep moving.
Or even just holding right here. You keep your abs in tight. You're using your upper body. You're working your core, so you're strengthening your abdomen and your lower back as well as your upper body too. Now, the thing you can do here with your chair, so again, all you need, some body weight, a chair, and an open space, and you're good to go.
Perfect.
So again, to work more of the upper body, we're gonna work the triceps right back here. Just gonna do a dip, so you put your hands, like you sit down, and then walk your feet out like this, and then you're just gonna lower and lift back up. And then you see how my elbows are in tight to my side the entire time?
Exactly.
So let me do it from the side here, because this ensures that you're actually utilizing your upper body, you're utilizing your triceps. A lot of people have a natural tendency to pop their elbows out like that, resist that urge, and even if you can't go down as low and you can only do this, proper form opposed to going down even deeper.
And she's engaging her abs the entire time she's doing it to work the core. So a lot of times people who are not trained don't do that. You just engage your abs. Doesn't mean you suck your tummy in. Just make sure your abs are engaged.
You contract them nice and tight. You want to pull your belly button back into your spine. You're not flexing to show off your muscles. You're contracting to help support everything. So, and the last thing that I'll do right here, it's a split squat. So you can do it a variety of ways, but instead of doing, and this again, if you have bad knees, you can still do this.
Exactly.
So you put your one leg right here, walk the other leg forward. I like to do a counterbalance and put my arms out in front of me like this. So I lower and I lift right back up. Lower here, lift back up. Again, my abs are tight the entire time, utilizing my glutes, my quads, and my hamstrings. This is great for total lower body right here.
Heart rate's going up, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. So you can see this whole entire time, just repeating each thing back to back. I'm a little bit sweaty, my heart rate's elevated, I'm getting a great workout in.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of our travelers have high blood pressure, diabetes, and all those are improved by the things you're doing. You're having your muscles utilized, sucking up the blood glucose, your blood sugar goes down, your blood pressure goes down. It's great stuff. Utilizing
tons of different muscles, so you're not just, say, focusing on your biceps, total body tune-up, essentially, right there in your hotel room, on the go.
And do you have a website or social media place where folks that are watching here and at home can look at?
My website right now, I have fitnessjeweltraining.com.
Fitnessjeweltraining.com.
Yes, because my last name is Jewell. JenJewell.com is coming soon, and that's going to be a resource for all things fitness. So I'm going to have all my fit travel tips and all my workouts that I do on the go is going to be on JenJewell.com pretty soon, as well as other programs people can download. Nutrition tips for how to eat healthy wherever you are. If you're at the airport, if you're at a restaurant, if you're at a friend's birthday party, how to make the healthiest choices in your environment.
And social media, what social media outlets can people find you on?
All of them, basically. Yeah, I have between Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and my handle on all of those is just Fitness Jewell, so at Fitness Jewell, Jewell with 2 L's. I'm very active. If people tweet me, if you have questions or anything like that, tweet me. I'll do my best to answer them. So.
Thank you. That's great stuff.
Thanks
I appreciate it. Thank you. Isn't she great? Awesome. Take a break. We come back to our Chief Medical Officer of the United States Olympic team. You don't want to miss this. Please stay with us.
We usually think of exercise as benefiting our cardiovascular system, decreasing our odds for diabetes and heart disease and that sort of thing. But exercise has really a very profound effect on our brains as well.
watching Ask Dr. Andy, and we've been talking about express workouts. Now, what does exercise do for your brain? Now, here to tell us that and more is Dr. Sami Rifat. He's a sports medicine specialist and associate professor at Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine. Welcome, Dr. Rifat. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. We're talking about, workouts and martial arts, but now, what about in your brain? What effects does exercise have in your brain?
Well, it's a great question because we usually think of exercise as benefiting our cardiovascular system, decreasing our odds for diabetes and heart disease, and that sort of thing. But exercise has really a very profound effect on our brains as well. It increases a growth factor, which is a chemical within our brain, actually several growth factors that help promote the longevity and the health of the neurons, the cells that make up our brain.
And so what does that mean? So for those who are watching even here at home, your brain actually gets healthier and stronger.
That's true. With exercise, there's been several studies that have shown recently there's an increase of a special protein, a special growth factor called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And this has been shown to increase in people who exercise regularly. And this chemical is instrumental, essential for supplying and keeping our neurons healthy. And that's been shown to potentially help reverse or slow down some of the changes that take place with age or other neurodegenerative diseases.
And we've asked others, in our show today, other guests, if people have excuses, right? You don't have any time to work out. What tips would you give them? Whether they're traveling or they have a busy schedule, what kind of tips would you give them?
I usually tell people to do a couple things. One, try to find something you enjoy. If there's an activity that you really like, it makes it a lot more palatable. It doesn't always have to be running a marathon or going to the gym and lifting weights. How about taking the stairs or having a walking meeting at work? Walking during your lunch hour, all those activities can go a long way to promote healthy bodies and mind.
And in fact, now there's an article that came out so many places around the country. Now they're having meetings where especially in sales, where people are meeting at the yoga studio. People are meeting and doing exactly what you're talking about as a walking meeting. What about some fitness crazes? That's all over the internet or on TV, like get this product and lose weight and have super duper energy. What's your opinion about those things?
Well, in general, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is, right? So I always tell people, you always have to take those things with a grain of salt. There's no substitute for just getting out and doing it. Every journey you have to take a first step.
Right.
Take that first step, whether it's walking or taking the stairs or cycling, all wonderful things. Walk that dog.
And so, some of the people that came on our show, they've invested a lifetime in exercise. Do you have to go 2 hours in the gym every day? I mean, what do you think is a good advice? What's a time period that people should exercise every day? Now, I know for kids, we always recommend on our show 60 minutes, a day. But what about for adults, that are a busy lifestyle? What would you recommend?
Well, again, you probably want to work up to these things, but the American College of Sports Medicine typically recommends that most adults do 30 minutes of a cardiovascular activity, at least of moderate intensity, most of the days of the week, which translates to about 120 to 150 minutes a week. And if we can add 2 to 3 days of total body resistance workouts, then that's really what you want to strive for.
Well, that's wonderful advice. Thank you, Dr. Rifat. Thank you
my
for coming
pleasure.
by and giving
Thank
us
you for having
some
me.
insight. Oh, it's our pleasure. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Michael J. White, Dr. Rifat, and Jewell, and they all answer our questions. Please stay with us.
Mr. White, I wanted to start martial arts, and I want to know, how do I become as good as you?
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Dr. Andy, and today we've been talking about how to tune up your mind and body with express workouts. We're now here with Michael J. White, Jewell, and Dr. Rifat to answer our questions. You guys ready to answer some questions?
Of course.
Sure.
All right, sir, go ahead.
Mr. White, I wanted to start martial arts, and I want to know, how do I become as good as you?
Michael, what can you do to start off with? Young man, and he wants to be, as an expert like you do.
Well, at first say you can be better than me. Don't make me the pinnacle. I mean, The thing about martial arts is being the best you can be. And you got to toss out the comparative method, because that's what gets people in trouble. Say it takes me 1,000 kicks to become fatigued, and it takes you 100 kicks to become fatigued. Okay, my training starts at 1,001. Yours starts at 101. What if I push to, I go to my 1,005, but you push to 120? Who's the better martial artist? It's about going past your comfort zone. Okay, it's about training your discipline and your mind and your heart. You know that you have belts, right? Our belt system. You are constantly breaking through plateaus. You go from one belt to another, overcoming obstacles, and that's what life is about. And the way that you overcome these obstacles is from within. It's really not, it doesn't make me better, okay? It's what you put into it and how much you drive yourself.
That's a great answer. Mm-hmm. It's really up to you and set the bar for yourself and not compare
That's a
somebody
long answer, but
it's okay.
I'm a martial art nerd, but I mean, my life is about this. The true beauty of martial arts is what it does to the individual's will. And with discipline, you can accomplish anything.
Anything, absolutely. Great question, great answer. Next question, sir, please.
Yeah, how important is stretching either in the morning or after a workout?
Then I'll let you take that.
Well, for me, stretching helps complement everything else that I do, whether it's in the gym, before or after a run, walking in the neighborhood, lifting weights, whatever it is. It's going to help overall with improving blood flow, overall circulation. Just the more flexible you are, the better you're going to be in and out of the gym.
And I also think that, one of the things that, especially our elderly, when you're working out and you're seeing the moves that we're doing here, it's important to prevent injury. When you stretch before you work out, I mean, the weekend warriors, too, the guys who go out there and play basketball without, and then they get the injury, the Achilles. It's really important to stretch and know how to prepare yourself for a workout. So great question. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, hi, I was wondering, can you work out too much, and is it unhealthy?
What about that? Can you work out too much? Is there such a thing?
Sure, there's absolutely such a thing as working out too much. Everyone can have too much of a good thing. If you don't allow your body time to adapt to the stresses you give it during your workout, you can cause muscle injury, muscle damage.
And here's the thing, you want to go to your physician or your trainer to ask, what are my limits and what should I start off with? When Jen started talking about her workout, she didn't go from 0 to 60 in one day. She said, I started slow. I work with my nutrition, make sure my body was right for things, and then guess what? Over time, there is no fast food method. There is no quick and easy. You won't get it in 2 days. It's going to take months, sometimes years, but you have to be patient, and clearly you have to have a goal. If you have no goal, there will be no success. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you tell me how much weights versus aerobics do you advise?
Michael, what do you think about that? Weights versus aerobics?
Well, first thing I would do is look at the person. I mean, I think it's good to have them both in concert with each other. One thing about weights that people don't realize is that it's one of the only things that strengthens your bones as well. Because not only are you strengthening your weights, and especially when you get older, I mean, there's nothing to give your bones a workout. Actually, lifting weights actually is the only thing that does that.
I think absolutely aerobics and resistance. Resistance training, resistance against a weight or with even your own body's weight helps you get stronger. You want to get the cardiovascular benefits, but also, Jen, would you agree with that? You have to do both in order to really get the maximum effect.
Definitely. Everybody should be doing both cardio activity and your weight training, because obviously for your cardio activity, we need it for overall heart health, for endurance and everything like that, as well as your stamina. And in the gym, lifting weights, that's how for women we're able to help prevent osteoarthritis and osteoporosis and everything. And we're able to help shape and create our bodies. If you want to add shape to your legs or to your glutes or to your arms, you can build that through strength training while also making yourself a more compact version of you.
And people, misconception, Dr. Rafat, is that you see these guys in the gym walking around like this. They have a walk, they have a particular walk. They can't walk straight because they got to show off their muscles, and they're lifting 200 pounds. Well, it isn't necessary. It's technique, and repetition. It's not really weight, is it, all the time?
No, not at all. I mean, there's many aspects to fitness. There's endurance and flexibility. All those are really important, not to mention your aerobic fitness.
And the other thing is, we talked to Jen about this, but you travel just as much. Like, how do you maintain your fitness?
There's ways that you can work out in your hotel, and I try to make it a little bit of an adventure. I run in a new place in the morning, with
nice.
my music on, and running is one of the best exercises, just thoroughly. So. There's ways to get around that.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time to answer our questions. I really appreciate it, and great questions from the audience. We'll take a break. When we come back, Parthia's Prescriptions. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for watching Ask Dr. Nandi. So what can we take away from today's Parthia's Prescriptions? Now, studies have shown that exercises release endorphins and can create feelings of overall happiness and alleviate symptoms of stress and help overall cognitive boost. Also, as we get older, our brains can get somewhat hazy and our emotions can get the best of us, but our physical health, psychological health, and spiritual health are all intertwined. You don't need thousands of dollars for a gym membership. Take advantage of what's around you. Public parks, sidewalks, and trails. Find a friend and enjoy your surroundings with physical activities. Also, regardless of weight, gender, and age, start small. If you feel you have a medical condition that would excuse you from certain physical activities, don't jump the gun too soon. Consult a doctor to decide what type of routine is right for you. Finally, inspire and be inspired by others. Try group involvement or being part of a team. Pick up a game of basketball in the neighborhood or get involved in community sports. Studies show that we perform better in our workout routines when motivated by each other. To stay informed about today's topic, learn about healthy living, and how to become your own health hero, visit AskDrNanny.com. Also, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, and join our discussion. Lastly, there's a beautiful word in the Hindi language that literally means, the light in me honors the light in you, and that word is namaste. So namaste to each and every one of you. I thank you for watching today, and I'll see you next time.